So you've probably found this video because you're at least intrigued about the concept of this or the entire prospect of what it might be or what it might mean. And unless you're a returning subscriber or whatever, then thanks for checking this video out. Then I really wanted to dive into the reality behind the self-help space, entrepreneurship, and just kind of starting business really, and kind of the misconception around kind of the pipe dreams that influencers sell people, and generally the reality behind it all and what it actually takes. Because as someone that has entered the self-help community kind of a couple of times, but a few years ago properly, especially I entered it in terms of starting watching content around it. At the beginning, it was like rich dad, poor dad content, and then I kind of entered a bunch of different spaces and just generally, started consuming a bunch of content over these past few years. So for me, I've it suffered massive like productive procrastination, as you could call it, which is basically consuming endless content, thinking you're being productive. I've done the odd job thinking that I'm hot shit, but in reality, it's just you barely getting started. And there's a bunch of different things that you go through in the process, but only in the past year have I properly found like the right footing, really, when it came to finally starting something that at the moment feels like it's going to be for the long term. But again, who knows where I'm going to be with this? So, you know, my journey has been a long one. Well, I guess in a way, a long one, considering I started a few years ago in this kind of self help space, but it's almost always been there, though, to a certain extent, because my passion really lies in storytelling and specifically filmmaking. And that's something that's always been there for me ever since I was a kid and ever since I picked up my first camera and started making stuff, making scenes, making films, and telling stories with it. And it was only really when, I was going through some hard times, rightfully so, because of losing friends, because of my own kind of accountability issues and trust issues and things there a few years ago, and even up to recent times. I ended up, I guess, really trying to like almost have like life resets for a little while and kind of figuring new things out, seeing new, like basically pipe dreams to an extent and being sold pipe dreams and understanding kind of different areas. And I mean, one of the first things I came across was Rich Dad Poor Dad, like I said, and watching him talking about assets and liabilities and, cash flow and all this type of stuff and understanding it all and trying to make sense of it all. And also thinking I'm hot shit, like I said, with, watching like Warren Buffett videos and learning about investing and finances back in like 2021 and thinking I'm going to be some next Warren Buffett billionaire. And of course, as soon as you start learning about something, there's a kind of mental model like graph, one of these like mental model curve things that shows how as soon as you start learning about something, you basically think you're hot shit. And then as soon as you start learning more and more and more, the graph fades out and then you realize how much you didn't know. And I've been at that point with finance, with investing, with money, even with business now. You know, I'm only like I'm not even a year into. Well, I'm barely a couple of years into business. I'm about a year properly into like business problems, and I'm still learning about everything. And I can't act like I'm some person that's 5 or 10 years into business, some experienced leader, because I've never really led in my life, and this is the first time I've properly led in my life. But it's actually funny that one of the biggest things I've learned, and I'm going to go into three different things I've learned in this video, but one thing that's kind of a bonus thing to begin with is actually the kind of irony around understanding things and learning new things. For instance, like let's say a subject like communication. In order to improve your communication skills, a lot of the time you think, well, to communicate is to speak, maybe to understand more, to communicate your things properly. But actually, communication a lot of the time is learning to listen properly and learning to be quiet more and learning to be able to be an attentive listener. And again, it's the irony behind, I think most people, at least in my opinion, in my life, I believe that communication skills are all about talking effectively and being an effective communicator in that sense. But actually, it's about listening attentively and about improving your listening skills and having empathy for things and many other subjects. And leadership, for instance, I used to think leadership was all about knowing as much as you possibly can about every single subject in case people ask you different questions, and you need to be aware of everything. Whereas leadership is being able to handle an amount of stress that is relative to your position and then grow as you get more and more stress, but a healthy stress that allows you to answer the necessary questions you're going to get as a leader in your position, but it's to have the awareness and almost like wisdom before you can gain enough wisdom to be able to learn from those that, work for your business or whatever position you're in. So like really the best leaders are always learning. Now to me, looking back, that kind of seems like it's almost seems the wrong way round, which is why to me it seems ironic because, well, how can a leader always be learning? They have to lead. But actually the most effective leaders are the ones that have kind of the wisdom in knowing that they don't know everything they need to know, but that's why they have these amazing teams, and they're open and honest and transparent with their teams about what they don't know so that they can all work together, and ultimately the leader is just the one with the vision, and they need to just be able to explain their vision and help the team in solving the problems that they come to the leader with so that they can lead effectively. Because really effective leadership is just effective communication, and it's effective problem solving, but transparency with problem solving. Like not pretending you know the answer to something when you don't. It's saying, I'm not sure about this, let's work this out together. Or I'm not sure about this, but I know that they do, so let's work together on solving this problem. Or we've got this idea, what do you think? What do you guys think? Because I'd love your input because I'm not 100% sure myself. Like effective leadership. And there's multiple areas in life where I find it quite ironic that in order to truly kind of master it, you have to do the opposite to what you originally thought it was going to be. And it's very interesting. Certainly for communication and leadership. And like, again, it's like procrastination and fear and making tough decisions and like discipline and self-control. There's no like, the biggest productivity hack is to do the thing because we build habits around things regardless of whether we like them or not because we like the outcome of it. We like the reward of whatever we're doing. So if there's something we really don't want to do, but we like the reward of it, we can make practice and make the habit over time of liking that thing and doing that thing because we like the end goal of it. Like we like the reward that we get, which is having finished the task, which is why, people that have built the habit of doing the monotonous, boring, tedious jobs every morning and every day, or whatever time it might be, they know the outcome of, I like the feeling of the finished task or the reward of whatever the finished task provides more than having that task looming. And that's ultimately like productivity 101. How do you be more productive? You do the thing you don't like doing because you know that you prefer the feeling of it being done more than it not being done. And then it's just leaning into the reward feeling more. And ultimately, that's just one of the biggest things I've learned. But I really want to dive into 3 things that I think are most important and are kind of almost like cornerstones of life, almost in a way, when it comes to success, when it comes to finding your success. Because I think one of the biggest things in the self-help and personal development space, and especially like the pipe dream and like escaping the matrix and all this sort of stuff, that all these influencers sell us, is that we're being sold one type of pipe dream. We're being sold it's a reality for some people. It's a certain lifestyle that some people might want. But ultimately, we're being sold the influencer's lifestyle that they are promoting so that they can get more sales through their product or course or service, whatever it might be. So that's not every single person's passion or dream. So really, a lesson, one of the biggest lessons to take from this video is you need to create the awareness for what you are watching and what you are potentially being sold and understand if it's the thing that you really want. Because that's one of the biggest things in the self-help space, is you might be being sold and most likely being sold something that you truly don't actually want. because you're being sold a lifestyle ultimately. You know, the Andrew Tate lifestyle, the Iman Gadzhi lifestyle, they're trying to promote a certain lifestyle that you want. You know, Iman Gadzhi sells this kind of hyper successful, ultra productive, former agency owner, now successful, multiple business owner, serial entrepreneur. But that's not every single person's dream. That's not what every single person wants to do. He obviously glamorizes that lifestyle, and he takes his content team, makes snapshots of the most visually cinematic and pleasing moments to engage your dopamine and make you feel like you want it. But if you don't want that type of lifestyle, if you don't want what they're not showing you, then you have to be aware of what it takes to get what they are showing you, which in most cases you don't really want to be doing anyway. You want to be doing the thing that you're passionate about, that gives you the most excitement, that you flow in. Like for me, I flow making these videos, I flow telling stories, I flow figuring out things to do with marketing campaigns and how to make content, how to make the best ideas for my clients. I love this stuff. It's my flow tasks. But I understand the certain outcomes and certain types of lifestyle I can attain through doing this, but it a lot of the time isn't related to what these influencers push. And spending all of your life, driving supercars around the twisty roads in Italy, or sitting on the back of being in Dubai on a balcony or whatever it might be, or in Thailand on a laptop or whatever it might be, right? You need to know what you truly want to be doing, because you're being sold something that you don't know if you really want that. It just looks nice and fancy and you love it. You love the look of it. But it's most likely not the thing that you really want to do. So I want to kind of, hopefully in this last half of this video, dive into 3 areas that I think now, having kind of thought about them in a lot of detail and realized them for myself, and again, I'm still only young at the start of my own journey in life and business, in following my passion with my friends and my family. I still don't know what's going to change in my life, but I'm certainly trying to follow my passions as much as I possibly can and follow the excitement, basically, with no expectation of anything else other than just doing what excites me. And I'm trying to do that every single day. So these 3, I think, are very important, to say the least. And they're almost like cornerstones of what I think, regardless of anything in life, will help you regardless. Because these are going to be the 3 pinnacles of what help you improve your life in the way you want it to be improved. Because they're just kind of 3 areas that, regardless of anything, they will naturally improve your life and get it to wherever you want to be in life, regardless of passion, regardless of needs and wants, whatever. So the first one is knowledge and what you know. Regardless of the Tai Lopez knowledge meme, knowledge is, power is everything. If to understand certain skills, to understand certain fields of interest, whatever might interest you, you need more knowledge about that given field. Knowledge helps you excel at a certain activity or a task. It's just everything. It combines in the next 2 points I'm going to be making. Having more knowledge about a given field helps you gain more experience in that, because with more knowledge, you gain more understanding, and then it just helps you more and more and more. So knowledge really is everything when it comes to understanding things, and also helping you realize how little you already know about a subject. Like, especially for me, like 4 years ago, learning more about money, finance, and investing. I thought I was hot shit back in 2021 at the beginning of the year, back then, with money and finance and investing. And now I realize how little I knew, and I thought I knew everything about it. And I'm still learning more and more and more. And I still don't think I know. I'm never ever going to know everything. It's impossible to know everything. But that's what keeps you learning more and more and more. And that's the motivation behind acquiring more and more and more knowledge about what you want to know more about things that help you and support you, and things that you love as well. There's so many things that you don't know, and so many things that you'll want to know and find out more about. And that's why knowledge is the first one. Number 2 is people. I could have said knowledge and network, but it is technically network. It's the people in your life, whether it's friends, family, connections, business partners, whatever it might be in your life. People, make the world go round. And without people in your life that are there for you any time of day, regardless of anything, and you're there for them, people like a brotherhood, like a sisterhood, like a family of people, that's the most important thing you can have in your life. Because without them, you have nothing. You might have your family, fair enough, I'll be building a little bit of family and friends, but without your people in your life and always expanding, adding, changing, adding new people to your life, maybe changing if you change and people change, but always having a close network of people, a close friend group, and a close group of people that are your people and you're their people. It's just having this tight group of people that, regardless of any situation in your life, you're there for them, they're there for you, sunshine or rain, whatever whatever the quotes are, but they're always there for you. And having people, regardless of whatever situation or position you're in, they're there for you and you're there for them. Because in terms of support, whether it's opportunities, whatever it might be, business opportunities, ideas, growth, support, financial support, learning, growing, whatever situation in life you may be in, having the best people there is invaluable because people are your greatest asset. The best people in your life are your greatest asset because you have the most trust with them, you have the most openness with them, you learn together, you grow together, you make amazing things together. My friends are the greatest assets in my entire life because I get to tell stories with them and make films with them and grow with them and make amazing things with them. And I will never ever be able to have anyone differently in my life because they are the greatest assets in my life because they are my true friends. They're like the brotherhood in my life. And that's why they are who they are. And then the third one is your beliefs, because your beliefs ultimately shape your entire life. And, it's why people are the way they are. It's why we are the way we are. Our beliefs shape our reality. I think there was a quote about, as an Alex Hormozy quote. He's a $100 million offers author, $100 million leads now. He was on the Iced Coffee Hour podcast with Graham Stephan and Jack Selby, and I've watched this podcast a few times now, and had a really good analogy for this, which is our beliefs based on kind of moral, ethical, and societal norms, right? And regardless of modern day, this was just an example, purely example. So this is how much things change, how much norms change, right? Because this example is extremely nuts now to say, but this was a norm, and this is the whole point for the example. So Alex Hormozy said that, if you think about it now, say you have a middle-aged man that dates a teenage girl. That is not normal anymore. That is criminal, basically. But 500 years ago, or thousands of years ago, in society, most societies around the world, that was a norm. And think about how much it's changed. And that's based on how belief systems have changed and how much religious and faiths have changed over time. Because there's still certain beliefs and laws all around the world that, to some of us seem far-fetched and completely outside of our norms, but to others, it's just their everyday life. It's, what do you mean that's not normal? That's just life. That's normal. So our beliefs shape our entire reality. And it's why, I've had to change my belief about learning and studying and education, because I didn't hate school, but I just didn't like it or love it particularly. So I had a negative belief about school and about education. So I had a false belief about learning. So I had to change my belief, and I'm still having to change my belief because I still get caught up in I don't want to learn. But actually, knowledge is power. Knowing more gives me just more ability to be the best. It's powerful, it's cool. And I have to kind of associate this with the positive outcomes that it provides me. Because obviously, originally, I've looked at the outcome of trying to learn more. For me, it was just stress, hard work, and I never got anywhere. Whereas when I attach more knowledge and more understanding and more experience to kind of power, freedom, knowledge, all the positives of life, power, freedom, knowledge, wisdom, understanding, everything to do with every positive element of life, now linking knowledge and learning and studying knowledge with that allows me to basically become the best student I ever wanted to become, because I actually have a reason to want to learn these things now. Because before it was just so I can get good grades, get a good job. Whereas now it's so I can become the most awesome version of myself possible, become the best version I can possibly be as awesome as I want to be. So our beliefs shape our entire life. And our beliefs also bring people into our life, because what I've learned especially is that we attract certain types of friends into our lives. We attract certain types of people into our life. And Because our beliefs shape our entire reality, it affects our friendships, it affects our relationships, it affects what we're like as people. Because our beliefs shape our entire perception of what we see and feel, all of our senses, and how we think and how we feel, how we respond to things. If we change our beliefs, then we change our entire life. And this is a slow and steady process, but it's why I'm using it as the last point, because as soon as you change your beliefs, you change your ways and you change your entire outlook. Because I am aiming to become probably the most opposite version of, you know, what I have been in my entire life. Very sheltered person in terms of kind of emotional upbringing and understanding a lot of elements of life in that area, and just general like nurturing and support type of stuff. Learning to take more responsibility for certain things, like I said, it's accountability and things like that in the past for certain friendships. And for me, my own, you know, limiting beliefs and false beliefs about myself and negative beliefs about life, I'm having to change and work on so that I can become obviously self-responsible as an adult, but take on responsibility for other things beyond just being a regular adult. Responsibility as a leader, responsibility in management, responsibility in building business, telling stories through filmmaking, and all these things I want to do. And like I said, it's all about like living up to my excitement and having no expectation. Like I truly want to be living in, doing the things I love doing the most. And that's also, again, linking back to the passion of the pipe dream, because we want to be following our highest excitement. We want to be following our passion. And we want to be doing it with no expectation of what might happen. Because we just want to be, ultimately, to an extent, living now, living in the moment, enjoying the highest excitement. Because if we're enjoying the process, then we ultimately don't care about what we're going to get from it. We don't care about the fancy cars or the fancy lifestyle, because we care about what we're doing now, because this is exciting and we never want this moment to end. Obviously, times will change. We'll have bad moments in life when we'll have ups and downs, but it's about following the excitement as much as you possibly can. And it's what I'm trying to do. And it's why changing your belief systems about reality and about past, about bad habits, about our entire life, literally questioning our reality, is what allows us to change. Asking yourself why you think certain ways and feel certain things and react the way you react. It's literally life-changing thoughts so you can make life-changing decisions, so that you can, ultimately become not necessarily someone else, but it's just the person that you actually want to be. Now, without going too motivational with any of it, those are basically the three areas. So knowledge, people, and beliefs. And those are the three areas that I truly believe now, at this moment in life, learning more and more and more. They're the three areas that shape your entire life. And they're the three areas that have the biggest effects on your life. So, regardless of where you're at, and regardless of what position you're in, whether you're a younger person, whether you're maybe not even an adult yet, maybe you're still a teenager, maybe you're a young adult, maybe you're an older adult, whatever age you are, whatever position you're in, think about what excites you and follow it. Follow your highest excitement. Follow your passion, because following your passion is probably the best advice. Because if you follow your passion and allow things to just fall into place to a certain extent, allow for whatever happens to happen, as long as you follow your excitement to the best of your abilities, then regardless of what you currently think you expect to have happen, might or might not happen, it then doesn't matter, because it doesn't matter what you expected, because you're not expecting anything. You're just wanting to follow your passion and your excitement to the best of your abilities. So then you won't try to follow a pipe dream. You won't try to live up to a lifestyle that an influencer promised. It doesn't matter whether you have 100 Bugattis and you're making $1 billion a second, or if you live in a shack in the middle of the woods and you write stories. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you want to do in life. It's just about following your excitement to the best of your abilities and following your passion. So that's my TED talk. That's my motivational talk. But it's ultimately just those three areas that I think have the best impact on your life and will change your life for the better. So, yep. Not so short of a video, but yeah, thanks for watching and hope this helps. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.